I mean, that was excellent. I mean, I think, when you as a sinker ball pitcher, that's what the game looks like when they're having their day, right? You saw the ground balls, kind of the contact, but it's like weak contact a lot. But he pitched wonderfully.
This was only his second start since he got hurt. What can you say about the way he's been able to come back physically?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's one thing to be healthy, and then there's another thing to be like, in your best compete mode self. And I think that doesn't happen overnight. And so, he's basically, 6 appearances in, taking the mound kind of in a game, 5 or 6 situations. And so you'd expect it to, I think the first one was a little bit expected almost. But I think what's so impressive is to see the adjustments that he made to get back to kind of so quickly back to kind of being himself.
Well, 3-run home run. What can you say about just what the offense did to get on base and then stay with the
Yeah, I mean, Liberatore pitched very well, and obviously gave us some trouble. Tyrone worked a big walk to lead off the inning. I thought that was a huge play. The stolen base, a huge play. Dansby put us in a good situation, and then, that got him out of the game. And I think he got a changeup and took a great swing.
There's a certain swagger for a team that's played as well as yours has, and the expectation of winning rather than the hope that they win when they go out there.
I think we're playing with a lot of confidence for sure, swagger, confidence, and I think this team believes it's a good team.
Man, it's great. That's what you imagine. You kind of hope for when you put on a Cubs jersey is pitching at Wrigley. The Cubs uniform on, and Friday day game, it's special, it's iconic, and to do it with this team and these guys that have been just so great at welcoming me in was a lot of fun, just go out and compete, and in that atmosphere was, it's just baseball.
What was the big difference today with the sinker? What they was really working last time, because it was up a little bit. What work did you find for them?
Yeah, I think coming back from injury, it's always a process, and I probably wasn't as bad as my stat line last time, and probably wasn't as good as my one this time, and it's just one of those things where you just have to you just keep finding ways to get better. I think in between starts, there were some simple things that we worked on. I think Tommy's really good at just communicating things in a simple way, and just 1 or 2 things we were just trying to nail this week, and we were able to do that. And I think step by step, I'll eventually get back to the pitcher I know I can be. Obviously, I feel good and I feel like the stuff's there, but just getting that final little bit back is the hardest part. And so it's a process, and I'll keep working. But it was nice to go out today and get the results that we want and help this team win. And so, yeah, it's just you put the work in, and it's just nice to see some results.
You just alluded to it, but what does the 6 up and downs mean for a pitcher to get their stamina back?
Yeah, I think it's in this type of environment where each pitch is it's stressful, and to do that, and 6 or 7 ups is another thing I haven't done yet. So it was just good to feel that again, honestly. And so, yeah, there's a lot of that coming back from the rehab process where you feel like you just continue to build, and eventually here soon I'll kind of be past all of that. But for the meantime, it's good to feel those things and check them off and know that you're capable. And so, like I said, I'm just glad to be part of this group and have this help around me and just keep trying to get better.
As Bruce was saying, you were dealing there earlier, with the 16 or so, whatever it was that you retired in a row. Was that the kind of rhythm that you'd been in before when you were with the Mets or elsewhere? I mean, it was just like, a lot to roll.
Yeah. When I feel like I'm, where I need to be, it does. It feels like getting the ball on the ground is, it comes natural, and I feel like, that's where I was at today. I was able to, make enough pitches, the slider and sweeper, and enough with the sinker, just to kind of create a mix and get people on the ground. And yeah, I mean, that's always a goal for me is, try to get a ground ball within 3 pitches and let's move on to the next batter. So when I'm able to do that, things do feel natural, and it was good to feel that because it does feel like that's who I am out there.
You talked about the environment. What was it like walking off to the ovation that you got? Kind of looked like you did the crowd up, took the cap. What was kind of that moment like for you?
Yeah, it's anytime you get traded in season, I think there's an adjustment period, but even taking the field today, you feel the environment, you feel the fans, just how much they appreciate just the Cubs players, and especially me, and just to hear them cheering and kind of really taking me in, and just hearing the cheers and the encouragement was huge. And I think just going out and be able to give a performance like that for the team and for the fans, it just feels good because you feel the passion they have here, and you just feel that they love baseball and they love winning baseball. And so it's just fun to be a part of that, and it was definitely a warm welcome to Wrigley.
Edward Cabrera coming back Sunday, so Craig said, just what's that level of excitement like with the rotation group? No, Kevin, you were here, Edward's going back, but way beyond the
Yeah, I think it really just, with all the pitching have, it just kind of elevates, everybody really. It's just, when you have this, much talent, this many pitchers, it just really, just the tide raises all the boats. I mean, really, everybody, you have to put in your work, and you want to pull on the rope and do your part. And to have, obviously, a pitcher like him coming back with his stuff is a huge boost. And so I think all of us, we feel that, and we just want to go out and do our part and really help this team, and we know what we're capable of.
How you were able to send that pitch out?
その回のちょっとマインドの話で、もちろん自分の前のバッターが塁に出て、でリバートからやっとその1本出たっていうのは、その時の考えとかいかがでしたか？
昨日に続きなかなか点が入らない状況続いてたんで、ピッチャーもずっと頑張ってますし、なんとか一本出したいなってところでいい一発が出たんで、良かったなと思います。
Yeah, following yesterday, I think today, it's that the one hit doesn't come out, and I think all the pitchers were working really hard. So I was just hoping in that moment, I want to get that big hit and drive in the runs.
What does it mean for you to be the guy counted on now to get the big RBIs? One of the main guy on the team. I know there's so many good hitters on the team, but right now you look at it as the main RBI guy.
このラインナップには素晴らしいバッターもたくさんいますけど、その中で自分自身がその打点の場面で点を入れるっていうその役割って自分がなってるっていうので、それに対してどう思いますか？
特にプレッシャーとかそういうのは全くないですけど、自分のやることは変わらないですし、ランナーがいればもちろん返そうと思って打席に立っているのはもちろんなんで、前の打者だったりその後の打者っていうのがしっかり続いてくれるんで、プレッシャーかからず打席に入れてるんで、いい結果になっているのかなというふうに思います。
Yeah, I don't feel pressure at all. I think, my job as a hitter doesn't change. When there's a runner on, I'm trying to drive him in. But I think that really speaks to the guys in front of me and guys behind me where, they create those situations where there's runners on and I get the opportunity to get that possible RBI. So just thankful for my teammates.
When you're a DH and you're watching the game and you're watching the pitcher pitch the way he's pitching, do you think you have a better advantage to zone in on what that pitcher's doing?
その DH で出てる時に、ベンチからその相手のピッチャーをじっくり見れるとか、裏でも見れるとかっていうので、そのライト守ってる時と、DH っていうので、そこはアドバンテージになってると思います。
特に出てても出てなくても変わらないですけど、今日に限っては相手もセントルイスっていうのもありますし、数多く対戦しているピッチャーっていうのもあるんで、そこまでピッチャー見てなくてもイメージっていうのがつくので、普通に入れてますけど、そうじゃない時は結構 外野で守ってるよりはしっかりベンチで見れて、いいのかなと思います。
Yeah, I don't know if there is much of a difference there. I think, at least for today, with St. Louis, we faced them quite often, faced the pitcher quite often too. So I already have a good idea before going in the box. But I mean, maybe when I'm playing right field versus, when I'm DHing, when I'm in right field, I'm focused on defense, so there might be a little bit more possibility of looking at the pitcher or studying the pitcher.
Your team is playing at a high caliber right now. Can it play at an even higher one? Do you think the peak can be even higher than it is right now?
今、カブズもこのチームの調子はすごいいいですけど、これよりもっと、レベルアップして、いい調子に持っていけると思いますか？
そうですね、レベルアップとかっていうよりは、もう残りの試合も数少なくなってきてますし、負けていい試合っていうのはないと思いますし、まだ上にも、何ゲームかついてるんで、負けられる試合っていうのはないので、とにかく自分たちの野球をやるっていうことだけにしっかりフォーカスして、やっていきたいなと思います。
Yeah, I think the focus is, playing our brand of baseball. There aren't many games left in the regular season, and there's still a gap between first place and us in the standings. I think there's no game that we can lose. It's just go out there, play our game, and hope to win.